Hey guys, I think we're on number 7 of this Q&A series, and we are still going strong. 10 minutes on the clock, answering as many questions as I can. Let's get this done. Safi Afzal, what would you recommend for someone trying to increase their vertical leap? Squats, high bar Olympic squats, low bar squats, whatever you're doing. Squat, 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 and then work on your jumping. I think a lot of your vert when it comes to the test, like a combine, has to do. People are going to be crazy, mind blown about this. I think a lot of it has to do with your shoulder mobility. I think if you can reach farther at that extended position, a lot of people when they jump up, they try to reach, but they kind of crimp in a little bit, and I think that there's little things like that that really affect your vert. As far as like real life applicable, like playing basketball, trying to dunk and stuff, depth jumps, box jumps, plyometrics. There's a lot of jump programs out there that you can really look into that would be beneficial for it. Just focus on explosive movements. Power cleans and snatches would be really good. I mean, Olympic lifters have crazy box jump abilities, and I'm sure their verts are pretty darn impressive too. So I would look into some of those things, and yeah, that's my advice for that. Martin Lukáč, what do you do to ensure longevity as a powerlifter? Example, injury prevention or connective tissue maintenance. Go slow. Go slow is the biggest thing. I think most people find injuries when they try to overreach a little too much, and when they get to the point where they're not allowing their body to keep up with the progress they're trying to make. If you wanna do this for a long time, you have to give yourself a long time to do it, and let the progress come at the rate it comes. And while you're pushing to grow and while you're striving to get better, you can't push past the part where your body can keep up with it. And as far as like connective tissue maintenance, get some elbow sleeves, get some knee sleeves. I've been using knee sleeves for years now, and it is, I don't see a point in me training my squat without them at this point, just because they're such a protective measure. Utilize those things if you have them, and focus on taking it over a long course of a long amount of time. So, all right, Brian Ray, will you marry me? Oh, that's cute. Sorry, Brian, I don't know you personally, and I'm gonna have to turn you down this time. But I'm sure there is a lucky girl or guy out there that you will make very happy someday. Tom McMichael Armstrong, how has your training changed as you've gotten stronger? The weights have gone up, mostly, has been the thing. And I know that's a cheeky response. I'm sorry. I have gotten more experience with volume. My volume has increased as I've gotten stronger, as I can handle more. I think the percentages that I use has gone up a little bit in my training. As far as the training itself, I've become a lot more condensed and focused on the actual competitive lifts themselves. I used to be a lot more varied in my training. I used to do a lot of extra stuff and a lot of like body part specific movements, bodybuilding type stuff too. And I just found that as I've gotten better at the power lifts, I have to train them more and more and more to continue getting better at them. And every time that I've tried to branch out on that, I feel like I get better at other lifts and I get stronger in other areas, but my actual lifts, the squat, the bench press, and the deadlift, don't see as much improvement. And so, you become an expert on the things you spend the most time on, and that's kind of what I've had to do in the past, even though it's exciting to do other fun things and to train some other stuff. It just kind of comes down to me putting more and more focus on the competitive lifts and getting better at those all the time. Jugart Gamboa, I notice you don't wear weightlifting shoes when you squat. Any reason for this? Is because you squat in a low bar stance. I don't wear weightlifting shoes when I squat because I have tried it and I just am not as comfortable in them. And a lot of people say, well, it takes a long time to get comfortable, and I believe you, and there's a valid thing in that. I have enough hip mobility that when I'm trying to get low enough in the squat, I can do it wearing my chucks. And some people say that the weightlifting shoes make it easier to hit depth, and that's great for them. Anytime that I cut depth on a squat, it is usually because I am cutting depth on a squat. And whether that's intentional or not at the time, it's my body's doing it. Not because I can't hit depth on a squat, not because I'm incapable of having the mobility to do that. and just generally they pitch me forward more than I like and more than I feel comfortable with, and I already use so much of my lower back when I squat anyway. I think anything that puts more pressure on that is probably going to put me over the edge and would just end up badly for me, so that is why I squat my chucks. Corneliu Morandini. I'm so sorry, guys, if I mess up your names too. I'm so bad at this game. Hi, man. Hi. Do you know anything about training with a bulging lumbar disc? Have you come across it in your training environment, seen it, heard about other powers lift it 10 times a lot? I do not feel competent enough in this area to offer much advice to it. I know another lifter, Jimmy Pacifico, had an issue like this he talked about, and he had to have it surgically repaired. I have had some friends who have dealt with it before, but I don't know enough about what they did to train around it or work with it to give real advice on that. So I don't feel comfortable telling you what you should do, other than seeking medical expertise with someone who knows what they're talking about. Preferably find someone in the medical profession who is experienced in weightlifting and understands, because most of the time they're just going to tell you, oh no, just don't lift because it's an unnecessary risk. And so if you want to keep training, find someone who trains and specializes in that kind of stuff. It might take a little bit of looking, but I'm sure there's someone in some area, and if you want it bad enough, you can find them. Luke Sandler, could you give a brief overview of your training history, when you started and what you used to do, how it changed, when and why? Sure. Brief history. I don't know if I can keep it brief. I started exercising intentionally, I will call it, when I was 10 years old. I started with things like just a barbell and some dumbbells and things like P90X or Power 90 before P90X came out, and just exercising, push-ups, pull-ups, doing whatever I could to stay active and get stronger. I used to do a lot of, when I kind of progressed, I got into more of a bodybuilding split type thing, because at the time I wanted to be big and strong, and that changed when I just decided that I was okay with just being strong and not being particularly big. And it's changed by, again, I've focused in more on powerlifting and those being the movements, and not necessarily worrying about like other aspects of strength. If that was more of my focus, I think I'd more go into something like a strongman. But I just love the simplicity of powerlifting. I love that there are 3 things and I can work on those 3 things, and it's always going to come back to that. And I don't get bored with it because I care about building that so much. And it's been 14 years the journey has gone so far, and still going strong and still loving it. So there you go. Darren Sun, what college do you go to? I am a student at Central Washington University in smack dab in the middle of Washington State, and I've been here again for quite a while, and I love it. And I was an RA here, and I'm studying voice music performance and American Sign Language, and have been in the Douglas Honors College, which is like where I get a lot of my philosophy classes and literature classes and reading stuff done. So that's what I'm doing. Alright, I think I have time for one more. Matt Fit. Hi Ben, I've been following Jason Blaha's novice 5x5 program for 7 months. I reached great results, but I also understood that I want to be a powerlifter, not a bodybuilder. Should I continue to follow 5x5 program till it works? My strength increased in the last month and is still increasing with the program, or start something different? Thanks. If it ain't broke, then why even bother right now? I mean, if you're getting stronger and you're finding results, that's great. There's no rule as far as like once you get to this certain point you need to change your training to this, because people experience different progress with different things all the time. There is no one best powerlifting method. There is no one best way to get results for what you're doing, and people find it in many different ways. If what you're doing is working, keep doing it, and keep researching, keep finding out more about other things, and try some different stuff, even within the safety of having a set program. That was one of the greatest things that I did when I was running a lot of set programs in the beginning. When I started doing that, is I would keep the skeletal outline of that program and then try a couple of different things and see if I liked them, and then kind of branch off and figure that out. And then if I learn more about other programs that included some of those other things, I might try those out. The biggest thing is to give yourself the frame of time to actually experiment and try to get better over that course, because you're going to find a lot of things that work, and you're going to probably find some things that don't work as well. And so give yourself enough time to find out and see what works for you. So that is my 10 minutes for this video. Still going strong. I have no idea how close we are to finishing, but I will keep making these videos and keep posting these videos until every single one of these questions has been answered. And so I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Peace.